Hello and welcome. Today we have a question, and it is when I use ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, I have at least three options of models to choose from, and I don't know which one I should choose. So, how do I know which model to choose? Okay, so this comes up a lot, like a lot. And I'm gonna use some Claude documentation here to just go through how they lay it out because I really like the way they put this together. But this doesn't just apply to Claude. I think this applies if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity or Mistral or Cohere. Like, I don't think this is just a Claude thing. I think most of the major apps that you're going to use will have like some kind of lower cost, faster model, and then they'll have some kind of like intermediate model or models, and then they'll have kind of a top tier, like pro whatever model. So I think that this breakdown like works really well. We'll link this documentation in the description if you want to kind of read through it on your own. But just going through some of this, it starts with just establishing your key criteria. And it's like when choosing a model, consider these factors. And it's three things: capabilities. So, what specific features or capabilities will you need the model to have in order to meet your needs? Speed, how quickly does the model need to respond? And then cost, what's your budget? I will note that when I talk about cost, a lot of times what people will say back to me is like, "Oh, cost doesn't matter to me because I'm on a monthly plan, so I just pay like $20 a month, or I pay $50 a month, whatever it is, and I'm just on a fixed price plan." Cost still can matter in those plans. You just won't see it in like it costs more like $5 per use versus like 50 cents per use. You'll see it in how many times you can use a model in a period of time. So if it's something like, your 5-hour window, or like your daily usage or your monthly usage, depending on what tool you're using and what model you're using, you might see you can only use it 100 times versus 1,000. That's how the cost will actually matter. Maybe not necessarily your cost per use, but you won't see as many uses in that time period, if that makes sense. So anyway, looking at this, knowing these answers in advance will make narrowing down your choice and deciding which models to use much easier. And they have two general approaches. So the first option is to start with a fast, cost-effective model. And again, this isn't unique to Claude. So if it is Claude, we'd be talking about like their Haiku models. If this was Gemini, this would be like their Flash models. If this is ChatGPT, it'd be like their instant models, etc. But almost all of the major applications, at least, will have like their equivalent, like fast / like cost-effective model. So the first option is start with that model. And this says for many applications, starting with the faster, more cost-effective model, like Claude Haiku, can be the optimal approach. And it's like begin the implementation with the fast, cost-effective model, then test your use case, then evaluate the performance and upgrade if necessary. So basically, use the fast model, and then once you get output, it's like, did you get output that was good enough to use? If you did, then you're done. If you didn't, then look back. And it was like, is there something in your prompt that you could have changed? Do you have enough context? Are you clear? Or, all the prompt engineering fundamentals. If your prompt is solid and you didn't get what you wanted, then you consider looking at, a quote unquote upgrade. So whether that's a thinking model or, a pro model or just something. But that would kind of be the workflow with that. And then it says here, this approach allows for quick iteration, lower development costs, and is often sufficient for many common applications. And it's best for initial prototyping and development, applications with tight latency requirements, cost-sensitive implementations, and high-volume, straightforward tasks. From what I've seen, most people, most of the time, would benefit from using this option. If you're doing marketing or social media stuff or email or writing or lots of common things, at least that I've seen, I think this is a better model. And you can obviously choose your path, but I think that for most people, most of the time, it's actually better to start with the fast model and then go from there. But moving on, option 2 here is to start with the most capable model. This is basically flipping it. So for complex tasks where intelligence and advanced capabilities are paramount, you may want to start with the most capable model and then consider optimizing to more efficient models down the line. So in this case, for Claude, it would be Claude Opus, and the current one's 4.7. And then optimize your prompts for these models, evaluate performance, and then consider increasing efficiency by downgrading over time for greater workflow optimization. So again, not unique to Claude. So Claude would be Opus. If it's Gemini, it would be, I think right now it's 3.1 Pro. ChatGPT would be GPT. What's it, 5.5 Pro, etc. But it would be going to the top model and then going backwards if necessary. As it says here, this approach is best for complex reasoning tasks, scientific or mathematical applications, tasks requiring nuanced understanding, applications where accuracy outweighs cost considerations, and advanced coding. This is why I actually recommend option 1 for most people, because most people are not doing these things. And again, if you are doing these things, then look at option 2. But it's like if you are going in to create a post on LinkedIn, that doesn't do any, like that's not complex reasoning. That's not advanced coding. That's not coding at all. Doesn't require nuanced understanding. For a lot of things where people are using what they call here more capable models, it's for things that fall way outside of, reasoning tasks and coding tasks and whatever. Again, you can do this either way that you want, but I would really look at the sections here where it says this approach is best for, and then just really look at what your task entails, and whichever list your task falls in, I would go with that option. And then now they have their model selection matrix here, and again, you can substitute, Google or OpenAI for Anthropic here, but this is when you need Anthropic's most capable, generally available model for complex reasoning and agentic coding with a step change jump over Claude Opus 4.6. Consider starting with Opus 4.7. Example use cases: long horizon agentic coding, large-scale refactoring, complex systems engineering, advanced research, multi-hour autonomous tasks. Again, this list is, this aligns with option 2 up there. We're starting with the most capable model. A lot of times when I will say something like this to people or read a list like this to people, the first question will be, I don't even know what any of those things are. And that's fine. And that is also why I usually recommend option 1. Like if you don't know what long horizon agentic coding and large scale refactoring and complex systems engineering, etc. are, then you don't need to start with Opus 4.7 or GPT 5.5 Pro or Gemini 3.1 Pro, because this is what it's for. When you need frontier intelligence at scale, built for coding, agents, and enterprise workflows, in this case, it's Claude Sonnet. This would also be like GPT, like 5.5 thinking, or Gemini thinking. This is pretty much the middle model. Again, this is code generation, data analysis, content creation, visual understanding, agentic tool use. And then if you need near frontier performance with lightning fast speed and extended thinking at the most economical price, again, this is Claude Haiku. This could also be GPT, I think they're on 5.3 instant, or Gemini 3 fast or flash. This is real-time applications, high volume, intelligent processing, cost-sensitive deployments needing strong reasoning and sub-agent tasks. So again, there are two options that are generally recommended, at least by Claude here, and I agree with this, where it's like if you're trying to figure out which model to use, either start with the fast, cost-effective model. If you get what you want, good to go. If you don't, then consider either fixing your prompt or upgrading to a more capable model, or option two, you start with the more capable model and then you can just kind of optimize and downgrade as needed. Most people, most of the time, I think will use option one. If you're doing, complex reasoning, scientific mathematical things, advanced coding, etc., then starting with the more capable model makes sense. From what I've seen and people that I've talked to, that's usually not the case. I know a lot of the advice out there is just always start with the top model and just you're always good to go. I don't think that's true. There are cases against that. For me, I'd kind of align that with like, I have a rain jacket and sometimes it rains, so I should always wear my rain jacket. And it's just like, well, sometimes it's not, most of the time it's not raining. Depends on where you live. I get it. But it's just like, I think that if you're going to do option two and start with the more capable model, you should really make sure that what you're doing aligns with one of these things. Because if it's not, you are just cutting yourself short. Like if you're doing API calls, whether that's through a separate application or through an agent or through something else, you're going to pay more. And if you're just paying, if you have like a fixed price plan, you're just going to get fewer uses out of the model. So try it out. I would honestly try both options and just kind of see. You might be surprised at how capable the faster models are, but that's the guidance from Claude. I've read the documentation for Gemini and for ChatGPT and Mistral and just lots of other vendors of some of these AI tools, and it's pretty similar. So I like the way that Claude put everything together. So that's the document that I have on here. But anyway, we'll link this document in the description. If you want to look through it, be my guest and ask us questions if you have it, and we will see you next time.